Dreaming Big, My Journey to Connect India. Audition. Gregory Alan Siders. Chapter 1. Parents and Childhood. The little boy and his friends squatted in the dust at the edge of the small crowd, listening intently to the strangers. The strangers were visiting relatives in the village of Titilagarh, located on the fringes of the Kutch Salt Desert. They were talking about a wondrous thing they had seen, referring to it as an Agadi. The two boys tried with all their might to imagine the object, and though the strangers were speaking in clear Gujarati, their perception of the thing strayed maddeningly outside their grasp. They were told the Agadi was huge and black, that it had fire inside it, that smoke poured out from its nostrils, and that it moved by itself as though by magic. It was powerful beyond imagination, as powerful as a god. Behind it trailed many bogies, and the boys had no idea what bogies meant. All the strangers said that there were people inside the bogies. The boys looked at each other, thinking the exact same thought. This was a thing they had to see with their own eyes. The next morning at 8 o'clock, the boys left their homes for school, just as they always did. But instead of heading for the little white thatch-roofed building where they studied in the 3rd grade, they met at the beginning of the salt pans near the river, just beyond the last houses. The strangers had said the Agadi visited the town of Halvad, 7 miles to the south of Titilagarh. Not only had the boys never been there, they had never even been beyond the millet fields dotting the outskirts of the village. But they were adventurous boys, and they were consumed with wanting to see the thing. So consumed that they ran the entire 7 miles to the place. When the boys got to Halvad, they asked the people around, "Where is the Agadi?" Some people told them to go to the station. That was the place where the Agadi was going to come. So they went to the station and waited, speculating about what the thing was going to be like. "Maybe it's like a giant water buffalo," said one of the boys. "Maybe it's like 4 bullocks pulling a huge cart," said the other. As they looked away from the station into the distance, they saw something coming towards them. It looked little at first, not much more than a dot. But as it came closer, it grew bigger and bigger until it was almost upon them. A huge black thing with smoke billowing out of its top, running on its own, with nothing pulling it. They stood there staring at it, mesmerized. Then suddenly, the thing let out a terrifying shriek, which sent the boys bolting off towards the town. They had never heard such a horrible sound. No one had told them the Agadi made a noise like that. It was only when it stopped making the noise that the boys stopped running. Warily, they made their way back to the station, not knowing what might happen next. Then they saw the bogies. Peeking inside, they saw people sitting on benches. What a thing! The boys had no chairs in their houses, no benches. They and everyone they knew squatted on the ground. And here the thing had people sitting on benches inside it. Afterwards, they ran back to Titilagarh, but they didn't go back to school, something which they were punished for later on. But seeing the Agadi was worth it. Now they had their own stories to tell.